Hello and welcome to the Paducah Human Rights Commission television show, PHRC Raising the Standard. And I am here with Commissioner Shalon Jeter. We are usually co-hosting and having other guests on the show, but today we're doing something a little bit differently because we're promoting our 50th anniversary of the Paducah Human Rights Commission. And so we're excited and we're just going to have fun with it, give you a lot of information, particular dates of events, and we're just going to have a good time. And in the course of this show, you'll be seeing photos and things that'll be scrolling across the screen ever so often as we are having fun here on this show. And I hope you enjoy those photos. Those are part of our memories. Unfortunately, though, viewing audience, we don't have pictures of the earlier years, and we apologize for that. There may be some in the archive somewhere, and we just haven't been able to dig them out. But certainly we're going to have enough pictures there of different faces other than our current commissioners, and we hope you enjoy those. And we're going to get started. And Commissioner Jeter is going to share our mission with you.
Okay, the Paducah Human Rights Commission was formed in May 26, 1964 to safeguard all individuals within the city and McCracken County from discrimination in housing, employment, and public services, especially when it comes to race, color, ADA, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, and national origin. If you feel like you have been discriminated against, please do not hesitate to contact our office at 270-444-8643. Again, that number is 270-444-8643. And we will go ahead and begin the program.
Yes.
We're so happy to have Dr. Belt here. She is the chairperson of the Paducah Human Rights Commission, and we're going to talk about the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Of course, I haven't been in the game for 50 years, but I am so excited to be on this board and be up under you. So why don't you just begin?
Well, thank you. And Commissioner Jeter, I also want to say I'm excited that you're on the board. You have,
Thank you.
you hit the road running when you came on board. And I had to share a little bit of funny thing. At the first monthly meeting that Commissioner Jeter attended, the first question she asked was, are we going to have snacks at these meetings? And I'm thinking, who is this little girl who's shown up and she's already wanting chips and stuff at the meeting? But she has been a joy from the very first day, and she's brought humor, but never at the expense of the mission. We have a ball at our meetings,
Yes,
and
do.
we take care of business, don't we?
Yes, we do. I'm fun, but I do work, and
Yes.
I'm passionate about this board.
Yes, and that takes us to this main point too about our board is we are a working board.
Yes.
Now we can't speak for all of the years prior to us, but as of 2.5 years ago or so, we became a working board. That
Yes.
means that we decide, we cast a vision. We have committees, the committees work. We've decided that it's very, very important not only to be only concerned about receiving complaints and investigations, but we have an obligation to educating the community, for community outreach, to collaborate or to partner with other nonprofits and hopefully businesses, and to represent the taxpayers who are our constituents and the elected officials of Paducah and McCracken County, because the city and the county work closely together and we have a great relationship. And if possible, go outside the walls of Paducah, McCracken County to connect with persons regionally, nationally, internationally, and we've done that through this television show.
Yes,
and
yes.
so we are a working board. We're in the schools. Not very long ago, we went into the Paducah, McCracken County Senior Citizen Center. We are connecting the way we should with the NAACP, with other nonprofits, and we are operating as a Human Rights Commission the way a Human Rights Commission ought to operate. So we've been changing the face, we've been changing the perception of others about this board, and so we are not a Rottweiler. We're not a sick dog. We're not here to go after people and to just be plastered on the front of the Paducah Sun newspaper. We are here to make a difference, to make an impact in every which way we're allowed to in our community.
Exactly, and that's what we do. We're building up our community. We want people to know what discrimination is, because sometimes we've had guests on here attorneys to say maybe someone said something, they didn't really look at it as discrimination, but in actuality it was. And this is one of the things we do. We get the word out. Okay, we educate people.
Yes.
And that's the beginning of building
Yes.
a great community. We want diversity. We want to educate people. We don't want our young people to always move to the city. We want them to stay here and bring their education, their business sense, their business mind in Kentucky, in Paducah.
Yes, and we appreciate whatever people have to offer. If it's positive, bring it to the table, because we're a team. We're a commission, but we're also a team.
Exactly.
We appreciate each other's gifts and talents. We appreciate each other, the fact that we're family people, that we have careers, that we some of us, and I don't put my faith on the shelf when I leave the house, but I do say it this way, that we have our religious beliefs, we have our spiritual beliefs, we participate in churches or on behalf of churches, we participate in other capacities in the community. We are involved citizens. We care about people. We don't like foolishness. We don't like nonsense.
No.
But we care about people. We want to help people any way that we can, any way that we're allowed to. And then we want to make sure that we are standing side by side with our elected officials, with our volunteer leaders in our community, and that we're on one accord. We're on the same sheet of music.
Yes.
We want to build up and not tear down this community. And so, as the old folks used to say before it became a popular thing to say, is we do indeed want to leave our community, we want to leave this world a better place than it was when we came on the scene. And we're doing our part, aren't we, Commissioner Jeter?
Exactly. And I think it would be good to say now what type of commissioners we currently have on the board. We have attorneys, we have real estate agents, teachers, student intern that is now a full-fledged commissioner. I guess we should just start naming them.
Yes, we have Commissioner Gary Reese, who's retired from the Paducah Police Department,
Yes.
who is a professor at WKCTC right here in Paducah,
Exactly.
Kentucky. We have attorneys Craig Newbern and Matthew Schultz.
Yes.
We have a long-time educator, Terrence Cross, who teaches in the public school system here in Paducah. We have a manager of a Walgreens store. We have you and we have Commissioner Smith. Both of you are realtors.
Yes.
And they'll sell you a house too if you want one.
Anytime,
They'll help
just
you.
call.
They'll help you. And then Commissioner Banks, as you were mentioning a moment ago, he was one of our original 5
Yes.
Student interns, and when he turned 18 last year, then he applied and he became a full commissioner.
Exactly.
And he's 18 and he's the youngest commissioner in the 50-year history
And we're
of Paducah
excited
Human
about
Rights
that.
Commission. Isn't that outstanding?
Exactly. And let's not forget Lincoln Hardy. We have him. He's the one that works at Walgreens.
Yes.
And the interns.
Yes, we have Will Hancock, who's a senior at Paducah Tillman High School. He'll be graduating in May. We have Martinez. She'll be graduating in May. And then Commissioner Raphael Banks, who is our
Yes.
18-year-old commissioner. He's going to be graduating in May. And we'll be bringing on a new group of interns. And they'll all be juniors, so they can hang out with us for a couple of years. And the interns that we still have on board now, they're going to brainstorm with us to figure out how we can take the intern initiative to another standard, another level, so that each year we're always moving and progressing, because we want these young people to learn the process involved in filing claims, the whole idea and the concept about discrimination and all the other nuances and things that come with it. And so that as they move forward in their lives and in their careers, whether they stay here or not, they will be equipped to become involved on a Human Rights Commission. If they choose to, and if not, they can be community participants at large. But certainly they will know the innermost operation of discrimination and how they can make a difference.
Exactly. And we have provided them with a solid foundation.
Yes.
And this is good. I've been on the board for a little bit over 2 years, I believe. And you were the chairperson then, but how long have you been chairperson of the board?
Well, I've been chair for about 2.5 years. I became chair a few months before I asked you if you would consider being on the board.
You didn't know what you were asking, did you?
No, as it turned out, folk, it was a good thing. We're glad. I've been with Paducah Human Rights Commission since the year 2000. I've served under former Commissioner Fortune. May he rest in peace. And the previous chair was Andrew Corner, who is a long-term attorney here in Paducah. And they taught me a lot. I learned a lot from them. Commissioner Corner empowered me to the utmost. And I appreciate that. He took me under his wing, and everything I know, I learned from these gentlemen. And I'm the first woman chair in the 50-year history of Paducah Human Rights Commission.
You need to say that again, girl.
I am the first woman chair, and I appreciate it. But and that's very important, and that's part of the history, the 50-year history. But I may say that the most important part about it is that these two gentlemen who were former chairs, they saw something in me and they empowered me, and they empowered me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to do had they not done that. And so I want to give that shout out to them. And so because of them, I am the first woman chair.
Right.
And because of Mayor Paxton, who was the mayor at the time when he first made me interim and then he made me full chair. I want to thank him because he encouraged me. He was very positive with me. He was very helpful. He was an excellent listener and always available to me. And I went to him often, you know, because he was a very brilliant man. He was a quiet man who had this high level of brilliance, many years with the bank. And so he was just very smart, and he didn't always have to tell you how smart he was. He demonstrated it. And so I learned a great deal from him, and now serving under Mayor Gail Kaler, and she is a great listener. She is so encouraging and wants us to be involved, so much so that she included the Paducah Human Rights Commission along with the Susan Guest Anti-Bullying Foundation and the county under the leadership of Judge Executive Van Newberry. And she brought the Paducah Human Rights Commission into formulating the Paducah McCracken County Anti-Bullying Task Force. And so we get to serve in that capacity as well.
Well, Dr. Bell, could you just give me a little bit of history? Because, you know, the history part is new for me. And I've only been in Paducah since '96, so I really don't know too much about the history of the board.
Well, in May 1964, the United States Civil Rights Act was established. Now, there were some things that were tweaked and amended thereafter, but officially it was May 1964. President Johnson was very instrumental in making sure things were done decently and in order. And so during that same year, our forefathers, so to speak, that included, among them were included former City Commissioner Robert Coleman, and there were others who got together and worked with our elected officials at that time and developed this whole concept of having our own Human Rights Commission. And it was wonderful and very historical that it was done also during 1964.
Right.
And so as it turned out, our elected officials saw the value, the great value and the ultimate value in making sure that we had a Human Rights Commission as well. And so fortunately for us, it was established in May as well in 1964. And so in May of this year, we are 50 years old, looking good, sexy, just beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. And so at that time, ordinances were also presented, and I'm sure that our elected officials were actively involved in looking over what was presented. Our city manager, we are a city management government, the city attorneys, and all got together to make sure these ordinances were written with excellence, that they could stand the test of time. It's in 4 parts, and it is on our website. Just Google Paducah Human Rights Commission, we are allowed, and we're very fortunate to share on the website of the City of Paducah. And so if you'll Google Paducah Human Rights Commission, it'll pull you right up to us, and you can scroll through and find out anything you want to know, probably more than you'll ever need to know about the Paducah Human Rights Commission. And you'll be able to click on our Code of Ordinances. It's Section 58, Code of Ordinances. And if you would, Commissioner Jeter, I'd like to share something, just two or three things.
Okay.
We pattern ourselves after the City of Paducah City Commission, how they do things, how they conduct their meetings.
Right.
Our ordinances are different from the city, but they mirror a number of things with the City of Paducah, and we are in order. We are lined up with the City of Paducah in some aspects of the ordinances in some way or another. And in terms of how we have officers in our ordinances, we're referred to as commissioners. And even though I'm chair, I'm also a commissioner.
Yes.
I'm a board member. And so in our ordinances in Section 58-33, we're called officers. And so the mayor, it says the mayor shall designate one of the members of the Human Rights Commission as chairperson, and who shall serve as chairperson at the pleasure of the mayor. So that means the mayor is my boss.
Right.
The mayor is my immediate supervisor, and the city commission as a whole are our oversight. So they are our overseers, and they make sure we stay straight. They don't micromanage us, they don't dictate to us, but they oversee us, and we answer to them, and rightly so, because our budget comes from our constituents, which are the taxpayers.
Right.
And so we have an obligation to fall under the umbrella of the mayor and the city commission. So that's decent and in order. Our meetings are conducted monthly. Now, there was a time that we changed our meetings to bi-monthly, and then for a short period of time when we were not maintaining the number of board members that we
Right.
should have according to our ordinance, which means we're supposed to have a minimum of 9. We are at 9 as we speak, and we can have 109 if we want to, as long as they are, upstanding citizens and understand that we are a working board. They have to help get the work done, because our citizens deserve us to be a working board, by golly, because we get some money. It's a small budget, but we're good stewards, and we use that money properly. We use it the way it's intended to be used. And
also, I would like to say, if anybody would like to join our board or have any questions, please call the number 270-444-8643 and leave a message, or one of the commissioners or the chairperson will call you back. But if you're wanting to do something in the community and you're wanting to work, we do more than just sit behind a desk and discuss things. We actually get out there and work. So
Yes.
anyone, and also we have a diverse board as
Yes.
well. And I really wanted to be sure we mention
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It's not just like a black thing or a minority thing. We have a diverse board, and we
Yes.
welcome anyone that wants to join our board.
Yes. Our meetings are monthly. Primarily the first Monday of each month at 3 o'clock in the anteroom, which is on the second floor adjacent to the City Commission chamber. We meet there. Our meetings average an hour and a half. When we're brainstorming and planning events and community connections, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And so our open agenda is open to the public. You can come and attend. You can listen. Matter of fact, you can come and ask questions if you have a concern. If you believe you've been discriminated against, or you don't understand some things that are going on, you're welcome to come in an orderly fashion. We all will respect each other and be a part of the open part of the agenda. It is when we get to the executive session
Right.
that we thank visitors for coming, and then visitors are then, at that time, they are to leave. And then we are closed door executive session, and we talk about things that are not available. They're involving confidentialities,
Yes.
particularly according to case scenarios and claims and those types of things. And so we do respect confidentiality, and we will not waver from that. And so we go to the executive session for that. And so having said that, let me say this, that sometimes we don't just take claims. Sometimes we do our best to mediate
Yes.
and to reconcile, because what makes a community strong is not how well we can fight. is not how well we can complain. And we can have valid complaints,
Right.
but we ought to also be willing, whenever it's within our power to do so, and whenever the respondent, the person against whom a claim
Right.
has been submitted, but any time that we can mediate, just sort of be a middle ground for the claimant and the respondent, and if we can reconcile differences and people can stay together and continue working together, that's always a very wise thing to do as citizens, because that brings us together, that keeps us together, that keeps people from splitting, that keeps the reputation of our community from being tainted. And you know, when and our city leaders are trying to bring in businesses,
Yes.
and they're trying to increase the jobs and the
economy
market,
here,
the
yes.
economy, and those types of things. We don't want a lot of nonsense going on in our community. So the Paducah Human Rights Commission has an obligation to try to help our city leaders keep the peace. And so that's part of our responsibility too. And so we come to the aid of the city, if the city would like for us to. We come to the aid of people who have been discriminated against. We come to the aid of other organizations and nonprofits who want to collaborate with us to get the information out there. Because again, a moment ago you alluded to how education is key. Education is power. Knowledge is power.
Yes, it is.
And the more we know, the more we can grow, the more we can go. And I say this when I'm interviewing persons who have filed complaints. There are some things that you must do too. You've got to come to work. You've got to come to work on time or before time. If you are a resident at an apartment dwelling, whether it's government funding or it's privately owned, you have some responsibilities to adhere to that lease you signed. You have to take care of the property. You have to respect the people with whom you are cohabitating in the neighborhood or apartment dwelling. And so, and then you have an obligation, even as a senior, and we primarily take complaints from people who have been discriminated against because of age, primarily ages 40 through 70. Even our seniors, even people who fall in those categories, and our seniors, you know, they have a responsibility also to respect people of different ages and things, and not expect there to be a different set of rules for one group versus another.
Right.
And so even the people who are filing complaints, we tell them, you have obligations and responsibilities to do. So make sure you have your ducks in a row. And so, because in an investigation, we're going to be looking at everything, every
Exactly.
side, and we're going to be uncovering some things that may not turn out to be very pleasant for the persons who are filing the claims. And so I think this is a good segue for us to go to some of the events that we are hosting and sponsoring leading up to our 50th anniversary. In March, we had an event, and we hosted it at WKCTC, where we had judges and attorneys and all of these great things, these stellar men and women who came together, and we talked about legal issues and all sorts of things, and it was very well attended, and we've gotten good feedback even at the end of the event, and even as we speak, we've gotten emails and those types of things.
But one thing, Dr. Bell, do you think we will do more events like that?
Yes.
We had a nice turnout, but I really wish it could have been even bigger.
I believe that it would be good if we rotated the venues. For this one was at WKCTC, and it was the second event that we had. We had one last year as well. And maybe we'll take it to different places, other nonprofits who have a facility that we can use, maybe to the faith community, and so we can do those things. Now in April, on the 17th, April the 17th, is our annual Fair Housing Luncheon. It will be our 17th, and it will
Yes.
be at Walker Hall at 229 Madison Street, right here in Paducah. Walker Hall will cater it. It's only $13 per person. We're going to have a program. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have door prizes. We'll have a speaker, and then we'll give our annual Fair Housing Luncheon Award. So that's April the 17th, 11:30 to 1. So it's during that lunch break. Walker Hall, 229 Madison Street. Only $13 per person for the meal. You can pay at the door. And then May 9th. May 9th in May is our month of our 50th anniversary celebration. It will be at Robert Cherry Civic Center, central location, lots of parking, good seating. Come early. The doors will open at 5:45 on May 9th. The program will begin promptly at 6:30 p.m. We're going to have diverse entertainment. We're going to have so many awards, so much recognition of people who've done great things in our city and in our county. And then we'll be featuring our 3 interns who will be graduating in May, and
Yes.
we're going to have such a good time. We're inviting all of our former commissioners, come and hang out. We want to recognize you right there in the place. We might even have Mark Thompson, who's director of Parks Department. We might even have him turn on the crystal ball there at the Robert Cherry Civic Center. But that's April the 17th, 11:30, Walker Hall, Paducah, and then on May 19th, Robert Cherry Civic Center, starting at 6:30. Come early because you know we got a fire code for the seating.
Now, the 50th anniversary, what date was that again?
We will celebrate it on May 9th.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and so, but remember, we're going to have fun. We might pull out some surprises. We don't know, but we're going to have a ball. And come on out. In May, on May 9th, it's free. Everything is free. And so come on out. We're going to have a ball. We're just going to have a good time, and we're going to love on some people, because there have been some people in Paducah, McCracken County that have been on the front line for a long time.
Right.
And we're going to recognize them. So we're going to have multiple awards, multiple special recognitions. And if you want to recognize us with a letter, with an award, with something sweet, let us know that. Call our office at 270-444-8643. Let us know how you want to do it. Come on, fill the house. We're going to have a ball.
Dr. Belton, I am excited about the May 9th, 50th anniversary.
Yes.
But how has it changed since you have been chairperson? What have you done differently than it used to be 3 or 4 years ago before you got to be chair?
Well, we have increased our community awareness, increased our community involvement. We are developing a relationship with the NAACP and other organizations, the way we should have always done it.
Right.
We've started this television show,
Yes.
PHRC Raising the Standard. We are open door, more open door than ever. We're developing a relationship with our city elected officials like never before, and our student intern initiative. We have opened the gates.
Now, the internship, that has never been done.
Never.
Has that been done on the city level with city commissioners as well?
With the Paducah City, they've used interns before, but never at the Paducah Human Rights Commission.
This is wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Belt, we have run out of time. I am so glad you have joined me today.
Yes.
Can't wait to go to the 50th anniversary, May 9th,
Yes.
at Robert Cherry Civic Center.
Yes.
Get my phone out, be sure and put it in my phone. And April 17th for the fair housing.
Yes.
I'm glad you chairperson. I'm
Thank
glad I came
you.
on board when you're here. So
Aw.
this apparently, and I've been hearing it from other people, well, the board is different than it used to be. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
inviting me to be a part of this board. And again, if you want to join the board, the Paducah Human Rights Commission board, please contact us at 444-8643. We would love to have some working hands on our board. We're doing some great things. It's not like it used to be a few years ago. We're totally different. Thank you for tuning in to Raising the Standard. See you next time.